All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back from lunch break, and we are going to take a look at some language that we asked Tucker to work on. And then during break, we also identified a bill on dam safety that we looked at a few weeks ago. And we had also flagged that for inclusion in this bill. So I wanted to have a conversation about that because it was something very, very relevant to these conversations. Representative Boyden is one of the sponsors of the bill. And that was the one about releases in anticipation of extreme water events. So it is exceptionally relevant to the intent of this legislation. So let's take a moment to take a peek at the words that council has provided us. We have 2.3. So much for your diligent and rapid work on that, council. You know what though, this new copier fires fast.
It's good.
Tucker,
It's
on page 14, line 7. Missing the word "to."
Which one?
There's a lot of twos. Dam operators operating under a waiver shall be required to make.
For the record, Tucker Anderson, Legislative Council, I will add the word "to" now, but I would also like the record to reflect that this was taken directly from the bill as introduced. So for the record, Michael Brady is
To get grandma. No surprise there.
Artful deflection, council. Artful deflection.
That's a point of clarification.
Please.
Well, hold on a minute. So now I can't see. Okay, I found it. Page 2. Line 16. Section 4. Provide a framework for municipalities to develop and implement. What I remember hearing in testimony is that one of the problems is that municipalities don't always have the capacity to do things. Hence, this bill is even needed. So I worry that language is not robust enough and it's going to end up continuing to perpetuate the problems that we see because not every municipality has the resources. So just providing a framework to me is not enough based on the testimony that we heard and what we saw.
That section again, please.
It is
Page 2, line
page 2,
Page 2.
line 16, section 4. I think it should be more than just providing a framework. It should be something like provide technical support or assistance or.
So let me just see real quick. So in conversations that were had like with sponsor of the bill, Ways and Means, where the bill is going, one of the goals was to have a clearer understanding within that language, how they could coordinate with like the RPCs and whatnot at that level as a support structure, and the RPCs are amenable to that conversation. Please.
So also, if you recall, Rep. Stone, that we in our budget letter recommended to continue funding the Municipal Technical Assistance Program, MTAP, at $3 million. And this is one of the things that a municipality, particularly a rural one with high need, can apply for grant funding to help with. So that's specifically for those, it was set up specifically for those municipalities who lack capacity.
But they still have to apply for a grant. It's not guaranteed. So that gets to my concern about it not being a guaranteed thing.
It depends on how needy the municipality is. There's $3 million if it gets funded. And that $3 million goes to whichever towns ask for it that score the highest on a need index. And the need index is something that was developed 2 years ago in the last biennium. And it really is like, do you lack a town manager? Forget the other criteria. I basically, like, you have nobody in your town who can handle this because you've got a part-time town manager, no town administrator. So those are the municipalities that would receive the assistance. And then if there's money left over in the grant program, others are invited to apply for money. But it doesn't answer this question because it's not in this bill, but it is a resource available for needy municipalities.
I'm just curious if you had anything to add.
I already said my piece, but it sounds like it's not gonna go anywhere.
Well, that's what we're talking about. I mean, if we want to add some language, this is the time to talk about it.
Oh, it's what I proposed. That's what I said.
And so
Language in.
a language suggestion of such, just like, do we want to identify an RPC? Do we want to like kind of just throwing it up in the air right now?
So you could say like, just be more clear about provide a framework for municipalities, which the department will then work with municipalities to develop and implement. Just making sure that it's more clear and concise and like consistent, and you're not just like hoping and praying that you get the grant and it comes in time. It's like just making it more clear that there will be, I hate using the word equitable, but here I am going to use it, equitable guidance, no matter what town, city you're in, whatever, that this will happen. So I would say putting something in about how the department will work with the municipalities to develop and implement that framework. It's just belt and suspenders.
No, I got you. I'm gonna look over to council and ask if he has an artful way of wordsmithing this. On that piece, just technical assistance on that subdivision for page 2, line 16.
No, because I don't know how to speak legalese, but
You,
Yeah.
for the record again, Tucker Anderson Legislative Council, if you are looking for language that will direct emergency management to provide technical assistance along with this framework, I can certainly add a clause in there that requires technical assistance to be provided here as well. I'll note that you've also created a position in the bill that is dedicated to providing technical assistance to municipalities.
Oh, yeah.
Because we had those pieces in the previous section, and that's where it was kind of
Right.
speaking to it, so I'd like just clarifying language kind of helps the points intersect, I think, with the overall intent.
I would like that, just the belt and suspenders, tying it together,
Gotcha.
making it clear across the board.
Representative Cody.
So Tucker, something to the effect that the Division of Emergency Management would assist in the, I don't even know what to call it, the use of this municipal grant liaison to go back to the language that Stone was just referring to identify, develop, and implement whatever it is they're trying to recover from. Am I making sense? But if we reference that specific position.
You certainly could do that. I would have initially suggested that in that subdivision board that Representative Stone pointed out, you could state that the division shall provide a framework and assistance for municipalities to develop and implement each one of the subdivision like that.
Sounds good.
Representative Coffin.
okay, that was something like I was gonna because I don't know how to speak legalese.
You said some good ones this one. You're honestly, like, yeah, for being here 2 months, you're doing solid, man.
To develop and implement with assistance as needed or requested by the municipality. Giving them the option to decide whether they need the help. I don't know.
No, it's like sort of like the, yeah, provide assistance, like kind of, I think it'll infer that with how the.
Yeah.
Let's see how he structures that for our digestion, Representative Hango.
So this municipal grants liaison would know about the MTAP program. So would that work for you, Stone, if it's to provide a framework and assistance for municipalities to develop and implement?
Yeah, I wouldn't put the as needed. I would.
Didn't say as needed.
I know,
That
he
was-
did,
that was-
and I'm
yeah.
responding to him to make
Mhm.
sure that my point is not tacking on to him as an addendum that's saying
Mhm.
the department will work with municipalities to develop and implement a framework. And then we know that they all have the same baseline and they can all have access to the same stuff, and we put belts and suspenders on all this. Instead of being willy-nilly across the state.
I support that.
Thank you.
It's good.
You captured that, Tucker?
You guys, it seems, I
Great,
see keystrokes happening.
thank you.
As I'm sitting on it.
Yeah, I'm heading the other direction.
I know. A microclimate.
Nice, bro.
Does anybody else have any questions about that section while we're on it?
No.
All right. Did anyone notice that the lower half of the screen's got a wave to it, the top half?
I noticed that yesterday.
Kind of driving, I can't unsee it now.
You
Oh,
found
yeah. The bottom half has a wave within the. Your eyes. Yeah.
that would be funny.
Yeah, it does.
First wall.
No, it's actually waving.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
It's like, it's like
Top to the bottom.
like a wave to the pixelation. that,
Gotcha,
like,
now I
It's almost
see
like
it.
an old TV that's like a loud, like, near the end, the bunny ears ain't lined up. Those of you who understand that reference. You guys just see that if the generational capture was there.
I'd be bored by the 1970, you know that.
TVs on top of TVs.
Just wrap some aluminum.
That wrapped up into that thing,
Yeah.
aluminum foil and stand on one hand and one leg. and-
No, let's go through the dam safety piece. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about the dam safety piece and let's just touch on all the edits here so you understand what the final copy will look like.
All right. Or in front of the camera now, so for the third time, Tucker Anderson, Legislative Counsel for the record. I'll be working through draft 2.3, which is the current draft the committee is working off of, but I'll note that I've already updated to draft 2.4 with the most recent request from the committee just in the last 10 minutes. So purposes of draft 2.3. You had requested that a new section be added containing the dam drawdown during emergency flood events provision from H 240. Hopefully I got that bill number correct. In that new section 13, which is on page 13, there's an amendment to 20 VSA section 9 related to the emergency powers of the governor, which adds a new subdivision 12 that allows the governor, in consultation with the Secretary of Natural Resources, to authorize ANR to waive applicable permits and restrictions under Chapter 47 of Title 10 or the Vermont Water Quality Standards adopted by rule, to allow dams within the state to draw down water levels in anticipation of a flood event that is likely to cause substantial damage or injury to persons or property. So, two standards there: drawing down water levels first in anticipation of a flood event, and then the qualifying clause that is likely to cause substantial damage or injury to persons or property. The waivers may only be issued if the governor, in consultation with the secretary, has significant reason to believe that doing so will decrease the risk of substantial damage to persons or property. Dam operators operating under a waiver shall be required to, that'll be in version 2.4, make every effort to minimize the environmental impact of a water level drawdown under the authorized waiver. Now, in H240, the drafting attorney included unamended language in the preceding subdivision 11, because there's also some permitting language that is built into that subdivision. If that's something the committee would like to walk through, even though it's not changing, I would be happy to pull it up and walk you through that existing piece.
I think it would be useful information.
Then let's do so. The preceding subdivision in 20 VSA section 9 allows the governor, in consultation with the secretary, to authorize the agency to issue temporary emergency permits with appropriate conditions to minimize significant adverse environmental impacts after limited or no opportunity for public comment, allowing site preparation for construction of or operation of an electric transmission facility or a generating facility necessary to ensure the stability or reliability of the electric system, or a natural gas facility. So similar permitting structure here: temporary issuance, state of emergency. A permit that is issued under this subdivision shall be valid for the duration of the declared state of emergency plus 180 days. And upon expiration of this temporary permit, any applicable permits that have not been issued by the Secretary or the Commissioner of Environmental Conservation, the Secretary may seek enforcement under applicable law. I assume that the reason that this was left in H240 is to point to those hydroelectric dams, where you might have two temporary emergency permits being issued at the same time, both for some emergency permitting for the electrical facility lying on the dam, and also for the emergency drawdown of the waters during the flood event. All right.
Yeah, I'm just putting the strings together in my head there. Yeah.
If this all seems copacetic, I will also point you to the clause that I updated concerning restrictive covenants,
Please.
which is in a few locations. The first is in section 3 at the end of the last sentence. This used to say with a restriction on the future development of the property. And it now reads that the municipality shall maintain the acquired property as open space with a deed restriction or covenant prohibiting development of the property. And that same clause is then added throughout the following section, establishing the voluntary buyout reimbursement program as one of the qualifiers for eligibility for reimbursement. Finally, based on the latest breaking request from the committee, while I was sitting in the chair, my gut response to your request was to add the language around assistance to municipalities into subdivision 4 of 20 VSA section 41. The problem is that all of those subdivisions fall under requirements for the plan. So you would be directing the state emergency management plan to be providing assistance to municipalities, which doesn't work, I think. So what I would propose is that in section 1 of the committee's amendment, which amends 20 VSA section 3A relating to the duties of the Division of Emergency Management, where you have, for example, added the new subdivision 3 requiring the division to come present in front of this committee on any updates to the all hazard mitigation plan, a new subdivision 4. It will read as follows. Provide assistance to municipalities to develop and implement the components of the statewide emergency management plan described in subdivision 41-4 of this chapter.
That's right. Do we find amenable opinions on the words suggested by council and the location within section 1?
That's right.
Hang on.
And so it shall be done.
Does that work for you, Repstone?
I think so. Same. You know my intent of why I wanted that language there. So if that does what I intended for it to do.
I'm going to give you many reasons to trust me, which is all of the words that are now secured on the page in draft 2.4, which I will now send to the committee and Autumn so that you can see the words on the page. As soon as my fingers can make that all happen. Apologize, there will be no nicety in this email. It's just a PDF.
As long as you added that word too, that's all we care about.
Yes, two's there.
Yeah, that's an important one.
We have put the infinitive in place. I won't let Attorney O'Grady know that he was slandered on the record. It is egregious technical error.
So you check it. Thanks, Tucker. We all should have it now. All of it.
Been doing this a lot. All right, now that we've seen these final edits, how is everybody feeling? We've done a lot of work on this. I want to thank everyone for all the efforts. It was quick work. This is a major piece of legislation that we're working on. And Redstone,
I do have a question, village council. Is there a difference between saying provide assistance versus work with? The word provide assistance with those, would that be more clear?
The term
I believe so, but I just wanted to make sure.
providing assistance, it's broad enough to capture technical assistance, financial assistance, expertise, whatever is necessary. And working through that subdivision 4 that was in the underlying bill, many of those things are just around planning for the emergency, designating where people can park, like what municipal resources would be used, for example, to check on vulnerable populations during the all hazard event to ensure their safety. So in all likelihood, the type of assistance that is being described here is going to be technical assistance.
So then that word needs to be used, is what I would think. Sorry, that'd be one more change. Now I'm in words. Things.
If it is the desire of the committee, I
What are you
can
asking?
dial that in. Yeah.
technical assistance in lieu of
Work.
assistance is broader because it is unqualified.
That's what we were, what a lot of the bill refers to as something that would sound like fall under the definition of assistance. That's what would encompass the intent of the bill more.
Just getting this in your copy in front of me.
I just would like to comment that some municipalities don't necessarily need technical assistance. They might just need hand-holding. And that's a colloquial term that I don't know what else to call it, but just somebody that they know that they can call on and say, hey, are we doing this the right way? Or do you have any suggestions? But it might not necessarily be writing a grant for them, for instance, which is technical assistance. So I would like them to get as broad an assistance as possible if we're gonna go down that road.
So that,
In my experience working with agencies, they call every time you call them technical assistance. So I feel they love doing that.
I'm not sure municipalities call everything technical assistance though.
Yeah.
It's like every call to the LCT, is that technical assistance or is that just asking for advice? I'm not sure. So. Repstone, how do you want to capture this?
I think the word assistance, or what we just heard, is more broad, and that speaks to what you were saying too. It's better to have a bigger umbrella than a pointed word such as work, because you're right, some may need financial assistance. Some may need technical assistance, some may need, so, and I keep using word assistance, so just maybe the word assistance instead of, and by maybe I mean, that's my vote. These word assistance, please, thank you. That's what I'm asking.
So is the draft as is good for you?
No. Because the word work,
Nope, the word assistance is there.
oh,
Yeah.
perfect, sorry. I have two up.
Yeah, we're on the.
3.4,
Yes,
2.4, sorry.
then yes. Thank you.
Okay, those are thumbs, cool. I guess so, that was just sort of they just went for it.
So then would you like a motion to move this bill? Or do we need a clean copy or where are we going with?
Council, do we need a clear copy then?
You have a clean copy of version 2.4, which is dated today and timestamped for 1:26 PM.
Okay, all right, committee.
I make a motion.
Whoa, hold on, all right, I was gonna say any further discussion. But if there is no further discussion on this, this was a lot of good work very quickly on a major piece of legislation that will continue to evolve as it moves. But I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, well, the motion will be to find page 397, draft number 2 for favorable. And we got a motion. And from Representative Smith. And clerk call the roll.
Representative Boyden, yes. Representative Pincinel,
Yes.
Representative Morgan,
Yes.
Representative Cooper, Burlington,
Yes.
Representative Coffin,
Yes.
Representative Stone,
Yes.
Representative Cooper, Randolph.
Yeah.
Representative Nugent,
Yes.
Representative Waters Evans.
Yes.
Representative Byram,
Yes.
Representative Hanga.
Yes.
11-0-0. And are you?
I am gonna be the reporter of the bill on this one. Good job, folks. Let's take a 2-minute break. Autumn.